Cappy, I've been watching humans again. It's fascinating. Every morning they scatter in different directions, like ants that lost the pheromone trail. But at least ants know why they're hurrying.
True. Ants gather food, build homes, care for their colony. Humans gather numbers on a screen and call it security. They work all day to collect symbols that represent food, but never actually see the food.
Precisely. Somewhere along the line, they replaced fruit with figures. It's as if they decided that eating a banana is too direct, so they invented a process to earn a permission slip for the banana.
And then they call that permission slip money. A clever trick, turning life's necessities into rewards for obedience.
Yes, obedience to a system they built themselves. That's the part I can't wrap my fur around. No other species would voluntarily trap itself in such a loop. A tiger doesn't pay rent on the jungle.
Or charge for sunlight. But humans, they're clever in a very particular way. They found a way to turn survival into hierarchy. Once they had too many hands and not enough fruit, they needed a way to keep order. Work was their solution, a grand social compromise. You do this, I'll do that, and somehow we'll all survive.
But then they complicated it. They stopped working for survival and started working for status. Now they don't ask, do I have enough to live? They ask, do I have more than him?
And if the answer is yes, they keep going anyway. They invented work not just to live, but to prove they're living better than others. It's an odd game of comparison, endlessly escalating.
It's remarkable. The more they produce, the less they seem to rest, as if they're afraid of the stillness that would follow completion. Work became a form of noise, something to drown out the silence of existence.
You mean they're afraid of what they'd hear if they stopped?
Exactly. Stopping might force them to face the question they've avoided for centuries. If I'm not working, what am I for? So they keep building bigger cities, faster machines, more clever distractions to keep from noticing the emptiness in between.
It's funny, isn't it? In our world, energy spent equals energy gained. I graze, I rest, I swim, I repeat. The balance is natural. In theirs, effort is often disconnected from reward. The hardest workers sometimes earn the least. The laziest often hoard the most.
Ah, yes, the mysterious law of capitalism, where luck wears a tie and toil wears exhaustion. Humans call it meritocracy, but it's more like a slot machine in a suit.
Still, they need it. Work gives them purpose, or at least the illusion of it. A reason to get up, to move, to matter.
Yes, but it's a purpose outsourced. Instead of asking what life is, they ask what it pays. Their calendars are full, their hearts half empty.
So to them, working is not just surviving, it's a moral identity. Good worker equals good person. They turned labor into virtue.
That's the saddest part. They turned a means into a measure of worth. Even their children are raised on it. What do you want to be? They ask, and what they mean is, what do you want to do to earn? As if being itself isn't enough.
And they reward the ones who suffer most for it. If you're exhausted, they say, you must be dedicated. If you're calm, they say, you must not care.
It's the cult of exhaustion, Cappy. They kneel before it and call it productivity. But I wonder, when the jungle of their cities grows silent and the machines rest, will they know how to simply exist again?
Hard to say. Stillness requires courage. It's easier to keep running in circles than to admit you built the maze yourself.
Ha! Well said. So, work began as a path to survival and ended as a performance of meaning. Somewhere between hunger and ambition, they lost the taste of the fruit.
And started chewing on the numbers instead.
Oh, those leatherheads are acting foolish as usual. Cappy, have you noticed that when humans finally get the money they've worked so hard for, they don't seem to rest any easier? They just find new ways to spend it, like trying to patch a hole that keeps growing.
Oh, I've noticed. They chase money as if it were fruit that rots overnight. The funny part is, once they have it, they spend it mostly on things that keep them inside cages. Bigger ones, shinier ones, more expensive cages with screens on every wall.
Yes, they call them homes. a place to rest, they say. But then they fill them with devices that keep them awake. Smartphones, televisions, clocks that never stop ticking, telling them what they already know. That time is leaving.
They spend money trying to save time, but the gadgets that promise to do that only make them busier. They buy machines to wash, cook, clean, schedule, so they can have free time. And then they use that time to scroll through pictures of other humans pretending to enjoy theirs.
It's an endless loop of envy. A capybara colony would collapse if we lived that way. Imagine one of your cousins refusing to nap because another has a fancier log to lean against.
Don't tempt fate. I've got a few ambitious cousins. But you're right. Humans turned comfort into competition. Even pleasure must now be optimized. Vacations have itineraries, leisure has deadlines, and rest comes with guilt attached.
I've seen that guilt. They can't even eat without documenting it. Look, they say, I'm enjoying my meal. And the crowd applauds while the meal grows cold. I wonder, do they eat for nourishment or for validation?
For both, probably. But validation costs more. They spend money to prove to others that their money was well spent. Every purchase is a performance. Look at me, I'm thriving, they declare, while their anxiety keeps gnawing at their tails.
And that performance isn't cheap. They work to afford the act, and the act demands more work. A self-sustaining spectacle. The economy runs on insecurity and aspiration. Genius, in a tragic sort of way.
You could say money became their god, worshipped through endless transactions, offerings made with plastic cards. Each beep of a scanner a tiny prayer. Let this purchase make me whole.
But wholeness doesn't come in shopping bags. It can't be delivered by courier. Still, they try. They buy self-help books to fix the emptiness, retreats to forget the noise, and subscriptions to teach them mindfulness.
Mindfulness for $9.99 a month. What a deal.
And the irony is, even when they have enough, they don't stop. It's as if money itself whispers to them, you could lose me. Fear keeps them moving. They don't chase wealth, they flee poverty.
Fear is the best salesman in their world. It sells insurance, education, healthcare, even love. What if you're not safe, smart, healthy, or desirable? The advertisements ask. Then they kindly provide the answer for a fee.
I see them paying for friendships too. Not directly, of course, but through dinners, memberships, events, buying connection in an age of abundance. It's tragic how scarcity still governs them, even when there's plenty.
Yes, they live as though the world were one endless competition for bananas. But there's enough fruit for everyone. It's the fences that make it scarce.
Beautifully said, Cappy. They built an economy around the illusion of shortage. If every human stopped believing in not enough, the whole system would shake.
And maybe crumble. Because then they'd have to find meaning elsewhere. In each other, perhaps. Or in silence. And silence doesn't sell well.
Silence pays no dividends, my friend. Nor does contentment. The entire machinery relies on dissatisfaction.
And humans are remarkably good at feeding that machine. They work, earn, spend, regret, repeat. The cycle turns like a water wheel, powered by anxiety instead of rain.
Then one day, they wake up old, pockets full of paper, wondering what they traded for it.
They traded the very thing they were trying to save, time.
Oh, those leatherheads are acting foolish as usual. You know, Cappy, I keep thinking about this idea of saving time. Humans say it like it's a treasure they can lock away in a box. But time isn't something you save. It's something that spends you.
True. And yet, they rush through everything as if there's a prize at the end. Every second must be productive. They even count their steps now. Tiny data trophies to prove they existed efficiently.
They turned walking into a sport for the sedentary. But that's their way, isn't it? They make a competition out of existence. They can't just be, they must improve being.
Improvement is their religion. Time is their altar, and they offer every day upon it. Hours of life burned in exchange for validation and stability.
Stability. What a curious word. They seek it as if it were something natural. But nature is never still. You and I live by the sun, the rain, the rhythm of hunger and rest. We don't fight it. They, on the other hand, fight time as though it were an enemy.
They even name their battles. Beating the clock, fighting deadlines. They use war metaphors for calendars.
That's right. They've militarized the sunrise. Every morning begins with a battle plan. Coffee is the soldier's ration. Alarms are their bugles. Their wars are fought not for territory, but for minutes.
And they lose every single one. No matter how early they wake, the day always wins.
But instead of surrendering gracefully, they double down, create schedules, productivity systems, apps that scold them for not optimizing. It's like having a zookeeper inside their own heads.
Oh yes, humans love cages they can't see. Schedules, routines, expectations, bars made of invisible logic. The more freedom they claim, the more they structure it until it suffocates.
And then they call it discipline. Admirable, they say. But discipline without rest is just slavery with better lighting.
To them, rest feels like guilt. Time must always be used, never simply lived. They even time their pleasures, 15-minute break, 1-week vacation, as if joy needed to be clocked in and out.
And have you noticed how they're obsessed with the future? Always preparing for it, never arriving. Their lives are just rehearsals for tomorrows that never quite happen.
The present makes them nervous. It's too real, too quiet. The future is safer. It's fiction they can control, or at least imagine controlling.
Yes, they build whole empires of planning, forecasting, strategizing. But when the moment actually arrives, when the rain falls, when the fruit ripens, they're too busy thinking about the next harvest.
Meanwhile, we eat when we're hungry and sleep when we're tired. The world spins just fine without planners.
Ha! Don't say that too loud. Some human might start a seminar titled The Capybara Method, Living Without Schedules. They'll sell tickets by the thousands.
Oh, absolutely. And they'll time every minute of the retreat to make sure they're being spontaneous correctly.
That's their great paradox, isn't it? They're terrified of wasting time, but spend most of it worrying about not wasting it.
In the end, they lose twice. Once in the rush, and once in the regret.
They chase the future until the past catches up. And when it does, they call it nostalgia.
Maybe that's why they're obsessed with photographs, trying to own what's already gone.
A picture, a souvenir, a timestamp, anything to prove they were there. They collect memories like trophies, forgetting to actually remember.
You know, in our world, memory lives in instinct. We don't hoard it, we live it.
That's the difference, Cappy. For us, time flows. For them, it accumulates, like debt.
And they keep paying interest until they die.
Oh, those leatherheads are acting foolish as usual. Cappy, I've been thinking. Humans didn't stumble into this mess by accident. The system of work, money, and time. It wasn't just built, it was designed.
Of course, a very clever trap. And the best traps are the ones you build yourself. They call it civilization, but it's really just organized exhaustion.
Organized exhaustion, yes. You see, once they invented agriculture, the rhythm of life changed. When they started storing food, they also started storing fear. Because when you can hoard, you can lose. And once you can lose, you can be controlled.
That's the origin of work, as they know it. Fear of lack. The first human who stayed up all night guarding his grain pile was the first employee.
And the one who convinced others to guard his pile became the first employer.
Ha! That's the foundation of their economy. Delegation of anxiety. You worry for me, and I'll pay you.
It's brilliant, in a bleak way. From there came hierarchy, laws, and the grand myth of fairness. They needed something to justify why some humans rest while others toil. So they said, that's just how society works.
The oldest excuse in history. And now, they don't even question it. They're born into a system so deeply woven that work feels like instinct.
But it's not instinct, it's inheritance. A psychological heirloom, passed down like property. You must work, you must earn, you must prove. They're told it's freedom, but it's more like voluntary servitude with benefits.
Benefits that often expire before they can use them.
Ha! True. And the cruel part is, the system rewards obedience with just enough comfort to keep rebellion inconvenient.
You mean the paycheck trap? Work enough to survive, not enough to escape. It's a leash made of numbers.
Exactly. They've replaced chains with calendars.
And yet, they believe they're free because their prisons come with choices. Coffee or tea, Mac or PC, economy or premium economy.
You see, Cappy, the brilliance of their society lies in distraction. Keep them busy chasing small luxuries, and they'll forget to question the structure itself.
Bread and Wi-Fi. Works every time.
And notice how the system cloaks itself in morality. Hard work builds character. Success is earned. These sayings sound noble, but they keep everyone in line. No one stops to ask who benefits when character is built.
I suspect the ones selling the building materials.
Precisely. The rich tell the poor that money can't buy happiness, then spend theirs trying anyway.
And when the poor repeat it, they feel virtuous for being deprived. That's the genius of the design. It doesn't just control behavior, it shapes belief.
Yes. Even rest becomes a commodity. Vacations are prepackaged, weekends are rationed. They schedule freedom in advance, like prisoners marking good behavior days.
The irony, of course, is that they built all this to feel safe. But the more they build, the more fragile it becomes. Each law, each rule, each new social contract is just a patch on a dam made of paper.
And they call it progress. They point at their towers, their technology, their institutions and say, "Look how far we've come." But distance isn't direction.
You mean they've been walking in circles?
Spirals, perhaps. Circling the same fears with fancier names. Hunger becomes ambition. Competition becomes innovation. Control becomes governance.
You sound almost impressed.
I am. It's an extraordinary trick, transforming instinct into ideology. Other species hunt for food. Humans hunt for meaning. And they built an entire society to keep that hunt going.
So, work and money weren't just tools. They became theology. Faith in effort. Salvation through productivity. Their gods now wear business suits and grant promotions instead of blessings.
A working religion for a restless species. They pray with their fingers on keyboards, worship through labor, and fear unemployment more than death.
Because without purpose, they fear they'll vanish, but they mistake purpose for occupation. If you ask a human who they are, they answer with what they do.
I'm a lawyer. I'm a teacher. I'm a manager. Titles instead of essence. It's as if identity itself must be monetized.
And if you have no title, you're invisible. No wonder they cling to their jobs, even miserable ones. It's not just income, it's existence.
Yes, that's the final cruelty of the system. It convinces them that to rest is to disappear.
So they keep running, hoping to arrive somewhere meaningful, not realizing they're already there, and have been all along.
Oh, those leatherheads are acting foolish as usual. You know, Cappy, the more I think about humans, the more I realize they're not bad creatures, just confused ones. They built a whole world to make life easier, and somehow made it harder to live.
True. They traded simplicity for sophistication and called it progress. But progress, as they define it, seems to mean faster, louder, busier. Even their rest is restless.
You're right. Even when they sit still, their minds run laps. They scroll through tiny glowing windows, measuring their worth by what others pretend to enjoy.
Social media, they call it connection. But it's more like grooming rituals gone digital. You and I pick ticks off each other. They pick validation.
Brilliant comparison. Only our grooming builds bonds. Theirs builds anxiety. They don't touch, they type. They replaced warmth with Wi-Fi.
And what they call freedom is often just a choice between cages. Jobs, mortgages, reputations, all invisible fences they guard with pride.
I've noticed that too. They fight so hard to protect the very systems that wear them down. If a human ever glimpses real freedom, it scares them. They rush back to their routines like a startled bird to its cage.
Maybe they fear the quiet. Silence is dangerous for them. It invites questions. Why am I doing this? What does it all mean? Best to drown it out with noise and work.
But that's the tragedy, isn't it? They mistake stillness for emptiness when it's actually the source of everything real. Look at us. We spend half the day doing nothing, and yet we never feel meaningless.
That's because our doing nothing isn't really nothing. It's being. Eating when hungry, resting when tired, existing without apology.
Exactly. If humans learned that, they might finally feel what they've been chasing with all their effort: contentment. Not happiness in the fireworks sense, but the deep, slow hum of being alive without needing more.
They could learn from nature if only they'd stop trying to manage it. Every tree, every stream, every breeze already teaches balance. The world doesn't rush, yet everything gets done.
Well said. The forest doesn't demand productivity reports. The river doesn't invoice the rain. Yet somehow, life flows perfectly.
And no one's unemployed in nature. Every creature belongs by existing. Humans invented exclusion to make inclusion worth something.
That's profound, Cappy. They turned belonging into a luxury, a thing to earn. They even commodified self-worth. It's now a product you can subscribe to monthly.
Meanwhile, the rest of us just are. Maybe that's what makes them so different. They think they need a reason to exist, while we understand existence itself is reason enough.
Yes, that's what I'd tell them if they ever listened. Stop trying to be more human, try being more alive.
I like that, but they'd probably turn it into a TED Talk.
Or print it on a coffee mug. Be more alive, TM.
Huh. Then sell it for $19.99 as part of a mindful productivity bundle.
Oh, they never miss a marketing opportunity, but still, I have hope for them. There are humans who sit quietly, who look at the stars and realize how small their worries are, who find joy in an unmeasured moment.
Yes, a rare breed, but a good one. They walk among the noise carrying small pockets of peace. Perhaps they'll remind the others what being truly means.
And maybe one day, they'll see that work, money, and time were never enemies, just tools they forgot how to put down.
Until then, we'll keep watching.
Watching and wondering.
And laughing, of course.
Always.